day one of the super bike build. All we've done is
literally day one, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had a discussion earlier on over a coffee.
It's kind of all kicked off.
And now we've got my cross-country bike hooked up to the trainer. And what's the plan?
How many days have we got till you fly out? 36 now?
Yeah, it must be around 35 or 6.
Yeah, so it's starting from this, and in 36 days we need to get you on an all-new bike.
Yeah.
It's literally where it begins.
And we're still taking the time to get to get a custom bike fit done for it. We're not in a rush.
Oh, there's no point making a bike without a fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, tonight's process is just getting some fit numbers. We've got it rigged up to the wind trainer to just adjust things and figure out what's comfy, and then we can use those numbers to start drawing something up in CAD and figuring out how everything's going to work together, basically.
Yeah, well, the world's our oyster really, because Rufus can do whatever he wants with the bike, and Tailfin are going to do whatever they want, whatever we want with the bags. So
it's basically no limits project, eh?
Yeah, just making the dream bike for the divide.
Making the best bike you can.
So what have we done? We've just mucked around with the setup. We've gone to a 70mm stem from a 60. We've changed the height of the handlebar, bouncing some ideas around just to feel comfortable. And then obviously Rufus can make a frame, and then we can run a shorter stem than this to maximise the frame triangle space and end up in the same position. That's the key, I suppose, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it there. Looking good on the bike, feeling good.
Yep. It's quite low front end when I'm on the flat bars, but realistically you're only climbing when you're on the flat bars, which brings up the front end. And also the saddle's quite far forward over the BB on the flat bars, but that really works well in the TT position. And then obviously the saddle flicks back a little bit when you're climbing in this position, so it's all feeling pretty good. And there'll be two completely sort of unique positions, one for climbing and one for TTing fast in the flats, and both of those are feeling pretty optimised at the moment.
That's a hard thing to get.
Yeah.
Optimising those spots. Nice.
Okay, we're back in Rufus's workshop. It's probably been 72 hours since we started working on this project.
Since we got the thumbs up, it was it's been a hectic few days.
yeah, it's been efficient.
We've had a deadline to get it done by basically Sunday night, which is tonight, so that we can get all the orders happening from Monday onwards, basically. So it's been 3 days to crunch it all down and figure it out, design.
Yeah, big thanks to Rufus. He's basically been on CAD all weekend, whipping up this gem. It's looking fantastic, and we've had a few sessions going back and forth. Some ideas are coming up, and now we're testing. One of the keys of this frame design is a very low bottom bracket. Basically, the average speed I'm looking at travelling out across the divide would be between 17 and 18, or maybe 19 k's an hour, average moving speed, which means that getting your head out of the wind is pretty key. And if you can do it without bending, craning your back down and running a too low a front end on a bike, then that's going to be easy gain. So we're testing 100mm BB drop. And
sounds extreme, doesn't it?
Sounds extreme. A few of the main brands have taken it down to 70mm BB drop, as far as we can tell. So this is like,
yeah, I think 70, 75 is maybe where people are pushing out, maybe.
Yeah. So we're taking it pretty damn far. Rufus has set up his own gravel bike now with a mullet setup, and this was already an 80mm BB drop.
Yeah, this was 80mm straight off the bat.
Yeah.
and then I put a 650B wheel in the back to just like drop the BB even more. And I've got longer cranks, so we're sort of like, it all sort of evens out, but we've roughly got the crank clearance, like the crank, well, the BB to the ground drop anyway is the same as what we've designed. So this is a bit of a test run to see how that crank clearance works with like leaning into corners, going over stuff, and if it's going to be a real problem or if we have to raise it up a little bit.
Yeah. Raising it up isn't the end of the world, but I'm just keen on the triple figures really, the hundy.
If you pull off a hundy, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, that'll keep my head well out of the wind, so we're off to the local park to turn some corners.
You're running 165 cranks as well, which makes it a lot easier. Yeah, on the shorter side of things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you definitely couldn't pull off a hundy with like 175 cranks, but I mean, who runs that anymore?
Yeah, those days are gone.
I can't get the pedal to hit.
Oh, that's just the outside of your shoe.
Definitely grab my shoe.
That's some pretty keen testing.
Oh, there it goes.
Was that the pedal?
That was the pedal scroll. That was a crank stroke, I think.
Oh yeah.
You got it.
Do those circles again.
Good and proper.
He's got the confidence up. So basically when you're riding a bike really stupid, you can hit it. But for the tour divide, it should be absolutely sweet.
Straight off the curb. There's the point of impact. There it is.
Bumper.
So you gotta have like a whole curve, like all the wheels are almost on the flat. Just the curbs hitting them.
Yeah.
Your point of contact, just don't do that.
Yeah, well, you know, I've ridden a bike for quite a few years in my life, and I should be well and truly able to keep my pedals flat over a feature, so.
You got the skills for it.
Yeah. Hopefully under fatigue the skills still come out, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy to keep it a hundy, and
This bike looks ridiculous at your size, eh?
yeah. Yeah.
Obviously. But you can probably see it now that I've mentioned all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still, it's probably a little bit tighter than it was, but there's still clearance around all of that, and that's with the caliper pushed as far that way as possible.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see when I put the rotor in here, obviously there's a little bit of discrepancy with brands in terms of where the rotor sits with different hubs, but this is where a rotor should sit, and like,
Oh yeah, it's way over.
it's what like you couldn't possibly run a caliper that far over.
Yeah.
So if that caliper was in the middle of the rotor, you'd actually have heaps of room around there.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like erring on the side of caution, knowing that that even with that clearance, we've got heaps in reality. So when I first draw it up, everything I draw up is solid. Like that's not hollow or anything. That doesn't matter because it's just going to be a tube. Whereas these, they were all solid, and then you have to go and drop out. So probably the most technical one. So you have to hollow them out for the 3D printing, because obviously you don't want to print them solid. But it just means ensuring you've got like a nice radius on the inside of everything. There's no like sharp edges, which are going to create stress points. And yeah, it's just a little bit tricky with all that sort of stuff. You have to run the...
That must take another few hours.
Yeah, it takes me a while. I'm still learning a lot of the CAD stuff and things like that. I'm still not super dialed at. So you can kind of see when I run this through it. This is like a section analysis. So it's just ensuring that all of these sections are just nicely supported on the inside, and like when you get into cross sections that there's no like sort of sharp edges or right angles, and there's just a nice radius on everything, so that the stress of everything can just get dispersed nicely without any sort of I guess you could say stress rises. So it gets pretty tricky. It's like sections like the brake mounts and stuff. There's all sorts of stuff going on in there. But
Or even just the axle, there's a lot of force going through.
yeah, totally. So yeah, I've like for instance, like the where the axle mount is up the radius on some of those ones, And then like the other stuff, you can just have a more sort of a normal uniform radius, but around here the wall thickness is a bit more beefed up on the corners with a bigger radius. Just to ensure that's all going to be mint. Which basically means if you're happy with everything, we can build this now.
Sweet. 72 hours and we're ordering metal. And I'll be ordering tail fin for that frame triangle. While Rufus is taking care of ordering metal from America and getting some 3D printing done here in New Zealand, I'm lucky enough to be working with tail fin, and I've just sent this STL file through to Ed and the team there, and the plan is to make a perfectly sized frame bag in this zone here. So very lucky, and hopefully that turns out in time. It's only about a month away, so watch this space, but it's pretty exciting. Alrighty, day 14 on the build. 14 days since we got the green light to start putting some ideas together, and we've already got a pile of stuff. Turning up.
I had a supplier for the tubing, and he did the beams for me in the down tube, as well as the seat stays and the chain stays. And then another supplier for like the bottom bracket, cups, or shells and head tubes and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All the more machined components of the bike. And then the last supplier, which we're waiting on, I think they sent today, is all the 3D printed parts, which yeah, funnily enough, that's what I'm waiting on, but it's the most local, so done up in Tauranga.
What about the next door neighbour? Isn't he involved?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty local.
Got some tubing off my neighbour Pete up the road, who also builds frames. He had some chromoly, which we're getting rolled over the way in Addington for the curved seat tube portion. Yeah, so yeah. Everyone's pulling together on this one.
2 weeks to go from an idea to basically getting close to getting to the point where you're going to be welding this thing together.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's fast progress. Like the design part of it was, what was that, 3 days, and we had it locked in, and then the ordering parts, and then like this is all coming from the States. Had to come through customs, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, crazy. That's already here. I've just been spending the time going through all the designs, finalizing, just making sure I've ticked all the boxes really. Tidied up the workshop a bit so I can, just when the last bits get here, I can get stuck in.
Fantastic, nice job. Started the process. Pretty crazy.
Cracking into it.
Yep, I've got the frame on the jig, parts of it. Still minus the curved seat tube, but
yeah, this just this section here.
Yep.
All the other tubing, all the 3D prints, everything's arrived, and we're cracking into it. We've been machining all the fits, all the miters, all that kind of stuff, getting it all prepped and ready, so when we've got that last piece, we can just get welding basically. It's coming together really nice. Yeah, everything's, all the meticulous planning just means that this process is straightforward and pretty quick really.
Wow, so probably in the next couple of days we might have a welded up frame. No pressure.
That's the plan, the plan, yeah. All hinging off this curved tube.
Yeah, I mean there's no pressure from me because my expected timeline was going to be lucky if I have a week to ride it, and now it's looking like there could possibly be a week and a half or two, you know, which is heaps. So
yeah, I think the more time we give you on the bike before Tour Divide, just the better, really.
Yeah.
So many unknowns. If there's going to be like things you need to fix or adjust, or God knows what, it's just best to have a bit of time up your sleeve, eh?
Cool. Yeah. It's all going well. That's just some light tacking for the meantime.
Yeah, a couple of tacks just to get things locked in. I'm a little bit hesitant to do the full tacks till we have this curved tube, just because that puts everything, that references the position of a lot of other stuff. But we can at least do all of the lengthly stuff, which is all the machining of the tubes, getting everything dialed in, which that's time consuming just because there's a lot of setup on the milling machine with getting everything centered in exactly the right spot for each cut and so on. And then, I mean, people you think of frame building as like welding a bike together, but by the time you've got to welding, you've done 90% of the job. Welding it is pretty fast.
True. Last time we got a bit of feedback that we did not talk enough about geometry.
People want to know the numbers.
There's some bike nerds out there, eh? So here we go, jig set up.
Here's this still isn't geometry numbers. This is numbers referencing exactly what I need to put into the jig.
Yep.
So, but you get a little bit off that.
Yeah.
What have we got? We've got head tube angle 68 degrees, which is relatively steep, I guess, for a mountain bike. But we've gone steeper because it's going to have a rigid fork, so there's no compression, there's no suspension sag to take into account. You go a little bit slacker if you're taking into account sag. Chainstay length 445, which people are going to say is pretty long, but for a bike that's going in a straight line, probably 99% of the time, I don't think that really matters. And what that's allowed us to do is offset the seat tube quite a lot back from the BB, just freeing up even more room inside the front triangle for space. And probably the most controversial geometry number, I'm trying to think how to label it, is probably the bottom bracket drop, which an idea we came up with together to get you down, because obviously the bottom bracket drops, which affects your saddle position, that drops with it, but also your handlebars drop in relation to the saddle. So all of those numbers working together brings you down on the bike. So we've ended up with a 100mm BB drop, which is enormous, and not something I'd probably do for anyone else really.
I wouldn't be looking for most races. I wouldn't go that way as well, but I know the demands of the route, and I know I can get away with it with a ridiculously low set of cranks. I'm just got to watch what I do in the odd bit of single track here and there.
Yeah,
but the aerodynamic,
knowing the route and also your skills on the bike means that you can hopefully get away with a BB drop that extreme.
It is the next morning, and it's been a productive night. Look at this thing; it's all, what do you call it, tacked together basically, minus the one tube still.
Yeah, we've done as much as we can. Like I've welded in all the cable ports. All these sub-assemblies are all tacked in place. Just done some light tacks in case there needs to be some adjustment once we get this curved seat tube portion. But yeah, she is rearing to be finished.
These are lovely, these hose ports. These are 3D printed?
Yeah, I usually use just off-the-shelf cast options, which they're kind of just one size fits all, so they don't ever work to the specific tubing you've got. So I managed to get these, well, they were out of stock, so I had to do something else. So I designed these up, got them 3D printed, and they match the profile of each tube just beautifully.
Wow, that's nice. And those are the only two additions that we're putting on the frame. No,
I love it. We've kept it so simple. There's no bottle mounts. There's no bag mounts. There's no derailleur cable ports.
Yeah.
It's just the brake hose and that's it. Keeps it fast and easy for me.
Yeah. Although there is direct tail fin aero pack mounts. We're going for that.
Yes. Well, I didn't have to fabricate that. That's all 3D printed.
Yeah, that's the beauty of that. We decided was that when you get a flat tyre with the tail fin, you have to sort of whip that aero pack off and then take the wheel out, and then this way I'll be able to flip the bike upside down and remove the wheel without worrying about the bag. And it's just a more stable setup and a few less bolts.
Yeah, that's it. Just makes things quick and easy for you out on the trail.
Yeah, and solid.
Yeah.
Cool, well, we'll do the next update when the curved tube gets curved. So Rufus has had enough of waiting. I'm back, just done a bit of a spin, and I've called past, and there's a new addition to the garage, the Metal Master. Probably something that you needed in your kit anyway, but it's come a bit earlier than expected.
Yeah, long-term plan was to get one. I've been sort of, essentially it's a tube roller, creates profiles like that. And I've been outsourcing it till now, but it's always a bit unreliable and don't always get what you want and all the rest. So with the deadline being so tight, I just bit the bullet and got one. So we can push on.
Oh, champion. So the first rolled pole is right there and going straight in the frame.
Yeah, first roll ever on that machine, and I'm not super happy just because still learning on that stuff, but gonna give this one a crack and see how it looks in the frame. If it's not perfect, then we'll just do another one.
Just chuck it in there, man. Here we go, this is the form, folks.
We're pretty damn close.
That's looking good.
We've got this guy in place, which means we can kind of set everything else up. Probably going to end up doing a new one of those because it's not a very nice bend. And this obviously needs a little bit of a trim to bring it up to its final position, but take it all in.
Damn. Look at all this. That's the room.
Volume.
Yep.
Litres.
8 litre tail fin in there.
And that was still like a gap at the bottom, I thought.
Yeah, he came across here, I saw. Look at that clearance. Nice!
Ain't no mud sticking to that, eh?
I don't know how long, it's less than, the date today is the 20th of May. So I've got
we're well ahead of schedule.
Well ahead of schedule. I'm probably racing in 3 weeks at a guess. So
flying out on the 8th, so
yep.
Yeah, what's that?
It's a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks up its sleeves.
It's a couple of weeks and a half, yeah.
Yeah, still not built, but heck, it's welded.
All today. So this is the next day from the previous shot. And Rufus has just had an absolute day of it. Look at that.
She was a bit of a, maybe not my finest work, but it'll hold up. It was a bit of a rush job. We had a very narrow slot with the painter who can do it tonight, but only tonight. Otherwise we got to wait till the weekend. So it was a matter of just getting it finished today so we can get it painted.
Oh, nice.
But yeah.
I'm not worthy of your finest work anyway. Save that for a proper customer, eh? It's looking well and truly good enough for 4,500 Ks though.
Absolutely.
Give or take another 30 on top. Here she is, full painted, the divide. You happy with that, Rufus?
Yeah, man.
It's looking good. Prototype purple.
Shit. It feels amazing to get to this point, hey? The point where it's getting built up and there's no more. I mean, we need to check everything fits and everything else, but we got all the crucial bits on and there's no more sort of waiting for material or this or that or suppliers. It's just, we're done, the bike's painted, and hopefully you can be riding it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty damn exciting. So I've bought my sort of training bike, had a few bits and bobs off this to put on here, but it is looking good. Rufus has had everything faced and prepared today. 3D printed that this afternoon. I haven't seen a
Cool. port that tire.
Cable port there. So yeah, that's fresh off the. Oh, it's gone.
I went inside. It was too cold for it in here.
Okay, yeah.
It's freezing in the workshop.
Yeah. Got a fresh Redshift suspension post there, just the 280mm. This is the derailleur from the Silk Road. We've got some fresh jockey wheels on there. The build's happening. It's the next day. It's always the next day, eh? It's always one day between films. But this time we're literally, look at this this is a XMC 1200 wheel set.
XRC.
XRC.
Even lighter.
It's crazy light. Very, very nice. And some Aspen STs on there. It's all going. Transmission.
All the blings going on.
Yep, we've got a wider crankshaft, a few other things. It's happening. I'd say the next day will be completed.
I reckon tomorrow.
Yeah. Alright, it's obviously the next day. We're giving the heads up that Rufus has done what he needs to do. Can't spin this around. Okay. Oh, there she is. The divide is looking pretty done.
Take it all in.
Lovely.
There's a lot to take in there.
Yeah, there's a bit going on. Looks fast.
Low and pro, eh?
Yeah. There it is, folks. It's no higher than a tool bench.
A lot lower.
It's gonna be,
There's not many things lower than that, Mike.
yeah. I'm gonna be down with the antelope in that Great Basin, eh? Bounding around. Shit, it looks really good, eh?
Yeah.
You stoked with it?
I'm real stoked. It's such a relief to get to this point in the project, where it's tangible now and everything's on the bike and it all works. There's no like, I don't know, you're always sort of in the back of your mind like, oh God, what if I didn't think of this? What if I didn't think of that with such a short time frame? But it's all worked out. Proof's in the pudding.
Shit, no, well done, mate. Thanks very much. I mean, we had a 6-week time frame to the start of the race from when it all kicked off, and now, as of yesterday, it's 3 weeks still to the race. So you've done it all in roughly 3 weeks, which is pretty outrageous. We're talking
That's mental.
ordering everything and then building everything. So
Yeah. Hence the sort of you're always sort of second guessing yourself. Yeah, with that short time frame. Like I would say, just if I thought of everything, but it seems to have all worked out. We'll see how it rides, though.
are you willing to offer future customers a 3-week turnaround regardless?
I have to ask the family. Yeah, everyone that copped it.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's time to ride the thing. Get this into there.
First ride.
First driveway spin. Feeling good. Lovely. Time for a trail. Okay, that same day, on a bit of a mission to give the bike a good break in. Now 60 kilometers in. It's going good, it's loving it. Low and fast in the cycle lanes. And I'm heading up to the top of Mount Grey. Mount Grey there. just in time for sunset. Should have bought the bivvy, but what a ride so far. Absolutely loving this. It's the first time I've had a custom bike made for my body, and I think we've absolutely nailed it, eh? Feels really, really good. I'm loving it. Massive shout out to Rufus, Bob. It's a pretty cool project. Can't wait to race it overseas. So thanks for watching. I'll get probably a bike and a gear check done hopefully before I fly out in 2 weeks time. So keep an eye out. Thank you.